What's up, Black? Hey, sorry about that, man. I had a phone call just now I had to deal with. My bad. Anyway, like the description says, man, is boxing super middleweight division its most irrelevant division? I was looking at some rankings today about the super middleweight division. I was looking at who's the champions and okay. I see you, Black. I'll email it to you right now. Dark Cosmo. Let me send it out to you, Black. One, two, kid, what up? Hit the link if you want to get in, sir. All right, Black, you should get that. The link is going to be coming from my personal email address. So you should get that. But anyway, I'm sorry about that, people. So I was saying, I was looking at the boxing super middleweight division, and I got to say, it's probably the most irrelevant division in boxing. Two of the belts are owned by PBC. Two of the belts are owned by Matchroom. The WBC, David Benavidez, right? No problem, one to kid. WBC, David Benavidez, right? IBF, Caleb Plant. WBO, Billy Joe Saunders. And the WBA and Ring Magazine is Callum Smith. Or should be John Ryder right now, because we all know what happened in that John Ryder fight. That was a robbery. But anyway, I'm saying that there's no way we're gonna see no unifications happening. Let's bring up David Benavidez, for example. Let's bring up David Benavidez, for example. Right? So in a recent interview, and I don't like using David Benavidez, this website for any information, because I find this website at times to be very unreliable. So let me share my screen as usual. So David Benavidez is supposed to fight Avni Yildirim as is mandatory. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because Callum Smith is the WBC diamond belt holder, which the WBC just has all these goddamn belts, and I don't see the point of them. He's the diamond belt holder and also the Ring Magazine. In my opinion, it would have been a natural progression to make Callum Smith the mandatory challenger to David Benavidez when he beat Durrell. But for some reason, the WBC, of course, always goes left and does something weird. So to make Avni Yildirim the mandatory challenger. Now, this website says Callum Smith, no WBC mandatory. That's not so. We know that's not so because the WBC made Avni Yildirim. Let me see if I can pull it up for you again. Yo, Black, did you get the link? Right. So Avni Yildirim was installed by the WBC to be David Benavidez's mandatory challenger. Now, who is Avni Yildirim? The last time I saw Avni Yildirim fight, he got absolutely destroyed by Chris Eubank Jr. in the World Boxing Super Series. That's the one that Callum would have won, I think. No, Callum didn't win the one. That was the one that George Groves won, I think. So he got absolutely, I mean, just marked in the world, you know, by Chris Eubank Jr. And the WBC side fit to put him as the #1 challenger. What up, Tim? What up, Tim W? What's good? We're talking about the super middleweight division in boxing, and in my opinion, it is irrelevant. So we're talking about David Benavidez and his fights coming up. So David Benavidez is apparently going to fight Avni Yildirim. Avni Yildirim, January 25th, if these websites can be believed. And I mean, is anybody excited for seeing Benavidez fight Avni Yildirim? The super middleweight division is one of these divisions that I think only unifications can make that division exciting. Only unifications. Because there's no big name in the division that is not a champion that anybody cares about. Anybody cares about. I see Benavidez also is talking about that he wants also to jump in on that Canelo sweepstakes. And that's why everybody's holding out for the Canelo Alvarez fight. Everybody wants that fight. You know, it's almost like, you know, they're holding out and just keeping warm just so they can hopefully get this Canelo fight. You got Callum Smith saying the same thing. He wants Canelo. Benavidez wants to fight Canelo. All these things, you know. Well, let me show you his upcoming opponent, Avni Yildirim. So this is Avni Yildirim. Again, the last time I saw Avni fight, he got absolutely murdered by Chris Eubank Jr. And then he just lost against Anthony Durrell. So I am not understanding how is it that Avni Yildirim is the mandatory. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I thought it would have just been understood that at the very least your WBC diamond belt holder would get first crack at would get a crack at Benavidez and do a unification. But again, the WBC just does strange things. Does this help Benavidez in any way? No, I don't think so. This is a nothing fight for Benavidez. I don't think this helps him at all. So that's his mandatory, Avni Yildirim. So the next person that I probably want to bring up is Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is somebody who I don't know what he's going to do, because he has a mandatory coming up apparently, and nobody cares anything about Caleb Plant's next fight. I mean, he's fighting absolutely nobody. Let's see if we can pull up Caleb Plant's next opponent. Let's pull it up. Caleb Plant's next opponent. All right, so Caleb Plant is apparently going to fight. Oh my God. This person. Hold on. What up, Shizbiz? What up, Shizbiz? We're talking about the middleweight division in boxing. I think the super middleweight division is just completely irrelevant. Nobody doing nothing. So let's see who is Caleb Plant going to fight next. Share my screen. And according to Michael Benson, Caleb Plant is going to fight Vincent Feigenbutz. February 15th in Nashville, Tennessee. Has anybody ever heard of Vincent Feigenbutz yet? Has anybody heard of Vincent Feigenbutz? I know I haven't. So Vincent Feigenbutz. Let's pull up Vincent Feigenbutz's record on BoxRec. Okay, so Vincent Feigenbutz is from Germany. And we're going to pull up his record now. Well, let me pull up his BoxRec first. So here he is, Mr. Vincent Feigenbutz. Man, Germany. He's 31-2. And man, he's fought basically in Germany his whole career. There you go. He had a British fight in Leeds, and man, I don't know this person. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, but I just don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is. Has anybody ever seen this man fight? He's Vincent Feigenbutz. Yeah, that's his name. Wow. Is he ranked? Let me see if he's ranked probably ranked in the IBF. The IBF does a lot of work outside of America. You know, it's much more of an international belt, hence the name international. But let's see, IBF. Super middleweight rankings. Let me pull it up for you, man. Let me share the screen. So here's the IBF rankings, right? Caleb Plant, champion, and number 1 vacant, number 2 vacant, and Feigenbutz is number 3 above Caleb Truax and Uskateki and Parker and these people. But I have never seen this man fight. I don't know who he is. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. Maybe he is. But man, again, just goes to show you again, the super middleweight division is anemic. Like nobody cares anything about this goddamn division. Wow. That's the IBF. Plant should try to head to the zone. I agree. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant, I mean, David Benavidez has said that he's pretty much looking for the Canelo fight. You know, he's not looking to fight Caleb Plant. I'm not sure what they're going to do, because, okay, let me ask y'all a question. Is David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant a pay-per-view fight, or is it a fight that can carry a card by itself? Is it? Because I'm not so sure Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez is a huge fight. I'm really not sure. All right, number 3. But I don't know. Y'all tell me, how do you all feel about the super middleweight division? How y'all feel about that? Y'all feel it's a good division? I mean, I contend again that only unification in this division would make it worth a damn. Nobody cares about super middleweight if they're not unifying, right? And I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say. And so those are the 2 belts. Okay, see, pay-per-view worthy in your opinion. Tim W says it's pay-per-view worthy in his opinion. There you go. But it's only pay-per-view, I think, if it's on a certain 1-2 kid.
Hey, what's going on, man?
All good, brother. What's up?
Just chilling. I was just catching you live, man. Trying to show some support, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
No problem. I think the super middleweight division has got some talent, but like you said, if it ain't a unification bout, nobody's really interested. I don't think David Benavidez and Caleb Plant have the names. I do think, my opinion, they both beat Callum Smith. Callum Smith is going to be the cupcake for Canelo when he comes down, because that's going to make the best money. And I think Callum Smith is promoted a hell of a lot better than they are, both David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. But I do feel that he's got the bigger name, Callum Smith does, and I think he's the easiest pickings out of the 3.
Well, Callum Smith might disagree. Callum Smith doesn't think he's promoted well at all. He's always sour as shit with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
Callum Smith thinks he's not been given a fair shake. I don't know why he didn't leave and go, because he had a chance the other day to leave and go to PBC. He didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I think he's got the biggest name.
Right.
Those UK guys come out for their fighters, and he's hype. I think he's a bit of a hype job. I thought he lost his last fight.
Yes.
And then I felt that he knocked out a welterweight in the fight prior, which was a fact, and they were giving this guy big props on how good his left hook is. And I'm like, that's kind of like giving Charlo props for knocking out the guy he knocked out. I'm not talking about Harrison. I'm talking about Jamal.
Oh, Hogan.
Right. It's like, what's of course he's supposed to do that,
That's his job. I mean,
right. Same with with Caleb Smith. So I mean, that's not that big for me. He's not that. I'm not sold on that guy, but I do think that he's holding the title basically for Canelo.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to get to Canelo fight. I think when Canelo drops, he's going to drop down to 168 because I don't see him fighting Bivol, and I don't see him fighting any of the other big light heavyweights other than Kovalev, who also had the biggest name at light heavyweight. I don't consider him I didn't think he was the best light heavyweight. He had the best record. He fought the best competition, but I don't think he was the most talented of them. So I think he's going to come down. I think Canelo's going to come down and he's going to fight Caleb Smith because then you got Mexico and the UK, and it just makes sense. It makes sense.
So let's look at Callum Smith's rankings. His whole, because I don't know. I mean, John Ryder was his mandatory, and I think John Ryder beat him. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's pull up Callum Smith. Let's see who's in his. Of course, he's a super champion, 27-0. You have Canelo right under that with being a regular champion. I don't know why they have Canelo listed as super middleweight champion. I don't. He's some kind of regular champion or something. But anyway, so you have Chudinov and all these people, a bunch of nobodies. Well, I'm not sure what. Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I see it.
So all these people are in the WBA rankings, and as you said, the logical fight would be Canelo.
Yep.
Do you think Callum Smith is in the right division?
I think he could be a light heavy, but I don't think he can compete with those big, with Bivol and anybody else up there. I really don't. I think he's going to get cleaned. He'll get cleaned out. I think Bivol actually could probably drop to 168 and probably clear that whole division out. And it would be competition. Like, I'm not sleeping completely on these guys, including Callum Smith completely, because the guy can box. And, David Benavidez is I think he's a little flat-footed, but
yeah,
he does have very good skills, with and same with Caleb Plant. I think he moves around. I think Caleb Plant's issue is sometimes he takes rounds off and he burns out. And then he needs to take a couple rounds off, and then but he's a pretty slick fighter and he's pretty accurate. So, I mean, it's an interesting division, and but I think if I do think that Bivol would probably, shake up boxing a little more if he dropped to 168. And he said he had no problem doing it because he's a small light heavy anyway. Yeah.
Bivol did say he would drop down to fight Callum Smith.
Yeah, he said he would fight Canelo at 168 also.
He would drop down. That's fine.
Which I think would probably be the toughest fight for Canelo or any of them guys, especially Canelo, because Canelo he's a phenomenal fighter, but you have to be in his distance. And I don't think he's going to be getting those love taps he was getting from Kovalev if he's fighting Bivol. And Bivol's a lot quicker than Kovalev. And his feet, he's in and out. And, like Canelo needs you to be there for that counter. He's looking for that counter. He can be offensive, but he's taking big risks. He can get countered too as well, coming in on somebody like Bivol,
So now we want to take a look at the WBO situation. We know the WBO the champion is Billy Joe Saunders. And here's Billy Joe. His division, and you have somebody named Murdoch and Parker, and look, Danny Jacobs already ranked number 3 in the WBO.
There you go. But that's a decent fight. But
that's a good fight.
Yep. But between us, I think that Billy Joe Saunders makes a stronger impact if he's not lazy and he just moves back down to middleweight. Nah. I think he does better at middleweight than he does at super middleweight because those guys are just really big, man. And if he wasn't lazy and he got himself in shape, he would be a threat. He would be a threat, to those middleweights down there. And there's a reason they're not giving this guy a shot because he's got a difficult style to deal with, kind of like Boo Boo Andre.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was a good fight. especially for boxing purists, it probably wouldn't have been a good fight for the casual fans. Billy Joe
Andre.
And Andre, yeah, because it would have been a chess match. I think they both would release here and there, but I mean, maybe it would have been. I don't know. I was very curious to see who would outbox who in that fight, though, because they both got pretty damn good skills. So I'm paying attention, but I don't think he belongs at 168. I think he should just get in shape, come down to 160, and he'd be a better fighter at 160.
He's just a fat 168 guy. He's just a fat guy up there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And with his style, he shouldn't be fighting that way. He shouldn't be fat because he depends on movement.
Right.
And at a certain age, you can't get away with that anymore.
Tim W says, when Plant fights a worthy opponent, not a Mike Lee, he will be exposed. So Tim W doesn't have a high opinion of Caleb Plant. Man.
Caleb Plant is possible. He does got skills, though, but we will see. We'll see when he steps up. Him and Benavidez, I think they're holding out on that fight because, like you said, I don't think that's certainly not a pay-per-view fight. Maybe the hardcore fans like ourselves, we might be interested in that fight, but,
You see, the problem with that is that it's not going to generate a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have a strong undercard,
right?
The pay-per-view model in the States is what, $80, $70? How much is it? $70?
70, 75, something like that.
Now, would you pay, because pay-per-view, you depend on the casual fan to buy. Casual fans are much more than hardcore fans, right? Much more. Casual fans pay the bills. I hear people shit on casual fans all the time. You can't. Casual fans pay.
They bring the money. Yeah.
Right? You need casual fans, right? But I'm not sure how much money that would generate. I mean,
I don't think it would generate much of anything because I don't think anybody knows these guys.
That fight would be better. See, the Callum Smith fight for both of these guys. Tim W says he hates Caleb Plant. Tim W, tell us why you hate this man. So
go ahead.
Both of these people would be better served going to the UK to fight Callum Smith.
Absolutely. That'll grow their name because it'll gravitate fans from the UK, which are diehard fans. I think that, and that's just a fact, and whether people like it to hear it or not, it's just a fact, man. These guys travel, these guys show up there, and they show out, and it's a different atmosphere when you go to a fight there as to here. I totally agree. Like with that, yeah. Callum Smith is a money fight that will bring you money and will make you a bigger name. Then when you come back to the States, people will recognize you. Word spreads, and so it can only benefit you. And I think it would probably be
where two of the belts are owned by. I said earlier, two of the belts are owned by Matchroom, and two over at PBC.
Mm-hmm.
The Matchroom guys are not, and it's weird because Matchroom is not trying to match up Billy Joe and Callum, and PBC is not looking to match up Plant and Benavidez for some reason. None of these belts mean anything without unification, but the problem is all four of these people are looking for a Canelo fight.
Oh yeah,
all four,
including from light heavy all the way down to middleweight. They're all sitting there waiting, from Triple G to Charlo to Bivol and everybody up there. Everyone's waiting on that fight because that's the money fight, and some of them are gonna be waiting for the rest of their careers if they don't get moving.
They're not gonna get this fight. As you said, I think Callum Smith is gonna get that fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think Billy Joe is getting it.
It's easiest to make. It's in the Matchroom. Canelo already said that he wants to go to England to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy fight to make, right? However, for legacy, I would like to see Callum Smith. I really want to see the super middleweight division make its own moves in terms of the fighters outside of Canelo.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
because he just coming to snatch a title and get gone.
And leave. He's not.
He's not sticking around.
I guess I get they want the money, but if they put the time in to try and unify and become undisputed, they could be the money man now. They could control money. They can It's like 154. Nobody really cares about 154 unless J-Rock and Charlo fight.
Right. That's a
Nobody
fact.
cares.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's I don't want to marinate to get the most out of that fight, but it's like, listen, you're making a bigger name if you do that fight now, and that's what
Right.
people don't seem to understand. This marination thing, yeah, it creates a lot of money, but how much money are you losing in the process of the marination? You know, and it's like you can literally grow your legacy on top of that, where people talk, and these guys just don't want to do it. But as for the super middleweight division, I got Benavidez stopping all the other champions, probably other than Canelo. I got him stopping Caleb Plant late. I think Caleb Plant outboxes him for 6 rounds, burns out, and his movement slows down. And I got Benavidez cleaning him out. I also got him also getting outboxed for a while with Caleb Smith, and then him catching Caleb Smith. So I mean, I got him as the best there, but he's a bit flat-footed. I think he would be an exciting fight for Canelo, but I just don't see that fight happening.
What could help this division in terms of forcing these people to should the Sauerland brothers try to approach PBC and Matchroom and do a goddamn tournament? Because man, it needs help. Because
I think unifications, man, and putting it on free television. That way you're not getting any backlash or heat, and you're getting good views in the process.
so then the best place for it to be is on the zone.
Yeah, probably on the zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even like I just think free TV, even if it was on Fox.
On Fox.
But I mean, just some like making an attempt to make something work. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're not getting from some of the networks and stuff. Or just going to Caleb Smith, like you said, because that if you want money, you get a belt. I mean, you just got to bet on yourself and go ahead and do it. And that goes for the PBC side too. Like, bet on your fighter, send him over there and bring him back. And now what you did was you created, a persona about this guy. This guy is willing to travel. This guy's willing to do this. And push some more promoting into your fighters, like the proper promotion. You know what I'm saying? And hype these guys up. Pay a little bit more money to put them on commercials and stuff like that and hype them up. Don't put up a generic commercial, you know what I'm saying? Like they do. Like put something really good up there, man. You gotta invest. Investments it's your brand. Don't mess it up by being cheap.
Man, let me tell you something. These people like Callum Smith versus David Benavidez. Where's Callum from? Leeds? Where's Callum from? Liverpool, wherever he's from, Liverpool, I think. That's a huge fight. That's a stadium filling fight. That's pay-per-view in England, all that shit. Listen, but at which point do you, because I don't see these people fighting even enough on Fox. I don't see them you don't hear, as you said, you don't hear anything about any of these guys on the PBC side. And Eddie Hearn doesn't really market Billy Joe Saunders as just 168 super middleweight champion. I'm not sure what he wants. I think Eddie Hearn is keeping a bunch of fighters warm for Canelo.
Yeah, because it's a big payday. It's quite. But I still think his next fight will be Callum Smith. I said it. I've been saying it for about a year now. And I think that's why he got the gift decision, because they need to keep that belt on the rocks. And if Ryder would have won that fight, what type of money would that have created and generated?
Exactly.
They know exactly what they're doing. So I think Caleb Smith is the guy that Canelo's going to go to, bottom line. But the whole problem with the PBC is these guys could be bigger. These guys can push because there's a ripple effect of going for legacy. When you have hardcore fans like ourselves, we just start pumping out videos. If these guys are fighting in unification bouts and fighting top-notch guys, then we got no reason to give these guys heat. We can literally start promoting these guys. That's basically what we want to do. We want to see big fights being made, and we help promote. I mean, most of these fights too. And YouTube has got to be big enough to do so, and these social media sites, because why would you have two YouTubers making millions of dollars boxing in the middle of a ring?
Right,
So
right.
it is what it is. Like use it or lose it. Like these guys are silly to just keep sitting on things, and like you said, keeping things warm for certain fights. You're missing a lot of opportunities that you can literally create by creating stars on your own. They don't see that. They just like, okay, well, let's just keep chasing this bag, and it's like you can create your own bag. You're just not paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What up, Red Glove Militant? Sorry about that, brother. We were in a conversation. Sorry about that. But if you want to jump on, please jump on. What I don't like also is that the super middleweight division, at least on the matchroom side, is also holding up a part of the 160 division, right? Because if you have Billy Joe Saunders, I'm not sure what Eddie's going to do with Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not sure what, because Eddie Hearn has already sent an offer to Charlo to fight Andrade. The Andrade versus Billy Joe Saunders fight never happened, and it looks like that's been put on the back burner because Billy Joe doesn't look like he wants to come to 160 unless it's to fight Canelo. But then him and Callum are not going to fight either.
Right.
So Billy Joe Saunders, what's next for Billy Joe Saunders? Is it 160, or is he going to, as you said, is he going to get in shape and go back to 160?
I would suggest him get into shape, but you ain't telling nobody lazy to get into shape. And you know what I'm saying? I say 160, he has the most impact. His power means something there. You know what power he does have. His skills mean something there. You know, he's a little quicker down there. He can move around better down there. I just think it's his place. But like when you got guys like me, myself, this is how not the casual, but you know, me, myself, maybe even you. When I see these guys ducking one another, like guys like just avoiding Crawford or avoiding Billy Joe, that bigs them guys up to me, because it's obvious these fighters, these promoters, these networks see something that they don't want to deal with. So that to me is like a win on my book. Like that's giving you another W in my book, because it's like, well, they don't want to test themselves with you. That tells you everything you need to know. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, these type of things is really stripping the fans of the big fight, because you know what I mean, come on, man. Why would Charlo turn down a fight with Andre? It makes no sense. It's like you can go over here, you can gain more fans, you could over the pond, you can gain fans there, and on top of it, you could get a title, which will basically help your case in fighting Canelo, because now you got two titles. Now he might start looking at you, you know, for that fight, but you're not trying to challenge yourself for greatness. And that's the problem, man. They're not investing in themselves, and these people don't have any trust in them. They're telling you everything.
I think that's disappointing, though, because if you have somebody like Charlo is another one again who can possibly move up to 168 and do something there. Maybe he can fight Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is on the smaller side of 168. Mm-hmm. So there's fights to be made on the PBC side also. There's fights to be made for everybody. Yeah. So I'm just not understanding why you're allowing a whole division to sort of
I'm gonna tell you why them Charlo brothers. Well, Jamal ain't moving up to 168. He ain't moving up to 168 because he depends on his power. And the more you move up, the less power, the impact you have. Your power's impact. These guys can take better shots. That, you know what I mean? So that's all he's got to rely on when he moves up. So I don't think it'd be a good idea moving up to 168. I think someone like Caleb Plant would probably outbox him. You know, I don't think he likes movement.
That Charlo is not going to take the Andrade fight. He's not going to take that fight. I don't believe he's going to take that fight.
Right.
So if he's not going to take that fight, is he going to? More than likely, he's going to fight Chris Eubank Jr.
Right.
Is he going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 168 or 160?
I think he should fight him at I guess it doesn't matter as long as he stays at 160, like even if it's a catch weight. But it's a good name, for promoting wise. But if he moves up to 168 and gets in there with David Benavidez, he's going to get knocked out. I don't care what anyone says. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt badly.
Because
I think David Benavidez. A lot of people sleep on this guy. I think this guy's he don't move around much, but he's pretty nasty.
yeah, he comes straight forward, comes straight at you.
Yeah, and if you run, if you're basically running into a brick wall. If the 168 guy's hands are faster than yours, and y'all doing this, you both are doing the same thing, just coming forward.
Yeah,
you're gonna be in a lot of trouble, and you're dependent on your power, and you're moving up. There's just too many factors involved in that. Where I think that Charlo, it would be an awful move on his part. I heard him talking about it, but then I don't never see that happening though.
man, I really wanted to do the stream because I think I was listening to, was it D Jefferson, and he was saying that he thinks 154 might be the most irrelevant division. I just disagreed. I think it's super. I think super middleweight needs a lot of help. This is one of these divisions that is a free TV division, unless you're in England,
right?
And I don't think PBC has any use for super middleweights. None. You don't have any use for these people. They don't know what to do with them. They have Caleb Plant fighting some German guy in Nashville. I mean, none of this makes any sense. Nothing makes sense. Benavidez fighting somebody, Chris Eubank Jr., knocked out cold, and who Durrell already beat in his last fight. Yeah. How does that make sense? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me in terms of setting up the fights, but I'm hoping one of y'all could have probably shed some more light on it, because I don't understand. Then you have Callum Smith, who weight drains himself down to 168 because he doesn't want to fight light heavyweight, holding out for a goddamn Canelo fight. Billy Joe Saunders, I don't know what he's going to do because he's a fat 168.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't beat anybody for his belt.
You got a guy starving himself to be at 168, and a guy who don't want to get in shape at 168.
Exactly.
It's funny, man.
And I think that when the weight draining in Callum Smith is finally catching up on it. It's catching up on it.
And that's on the other side, those guys, and then you got these two guys, Plant and Benavidez, fighting two nobodies. So it's like they're making a mockery of the division on their own, all four of them, and their promoters.
To fight Avni Yildirim on a Wilder Fury 2 card. What are you gonna do with that? I mean, where are you gonna put that? Because I mean, do you put that on a Barclays Center card, free Fox card, or whatever? What do you do with that, right? I don't understand it. So Tim
doesn't understand any of it either.
He don't see too many people beating Benavidez. So you're basically saying Benavidez would be undisputed super middleweight champ.
I agree.
So what's it going to take to get that done then? I mean,
exactly.
Two on one side, two on the other side. What's going to happen?
It's got to stir up the pot, man. Got to make some call outs. You know what I'm saying? Got to be heated about it.
I don't even
let the world know.
Even care. All four of these guys want the Canelo fight, and they're not going to get it. Only one.
No. That's true. That's going to be the thing too. Like, I think Smith is just going to be holding out because he knows he's probably one or two on the list, so he's not going to want to do anything. And I don't know. Maybe Billy Joe though. I mean, maybe he'll take a fight with them guys. But like I said, I think it's just a bad move for him to stay at 168 for his career.
I know they were talking about Triple G moving up to 168. What do you think about Triple G at 168?
I don't know. It might benefit him a bit. I think, kind of like, Bernard Hopkins, when he moved up, he still performed well. As he was getting older, you just get bigger. I mean, it may help him a little bit, but he's definitely on the downslide and in the twilight of his career.
Right.
So it may benefit him. I think it would be fun. Like it's something to talk about. It's something if he threw it in the mix, yeah, I would definitely check out a fight, and it could possibly be a pay-per-view to fight one of these guys just with his name, because you got a lot of guys waiting on him too, like Charlo, they're all waiting on this guy, and he's waiting on the Canelo fight, which Canelo wants no parts of. He's not even interested. He's like, I've been there, done that. I'm moving on. You know, I think if he does fight Triple G, he's gonna wait a couple more years and get him when he's old and just ice him. You know, that's what I think. That's what I think is like he'll always be there. You know, and it's a cash fight, so it's like, okay, I could always go back to this. Because I think he made him wait for what is it? Like he made him wait some years for that fight to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, there were a lot of people ducking Triple G at that point. You know, everybody wanted to go up to 168, but there was a lot of fighters that just didn't want nothing to do with him, and they let him age a little bit and get ripe, and then said, "All right, I'll take it now."
Well, as we can see in WBO, Danny Jacobs is number 3 ranked, right? We just saw Danny Jacobs fight a goddamn heavyweight.
Yeah. Disgrace.
How do you see Danny Jacobs doing in the 168 division?
Okay. I think he does okay. I think he does pretty good. I think he's a force to be reckoned with, and he could be. I think he could spoil the party for a couple people. You know, he's definitely got the talent to do so. He's been kind of, always in shape. It probably benefit him to move up. I mean, he was in there with a 200-pound guy, and Chavez was having his moments, but he was still doing pretty well. You know, I don't see his skills diminishing in any way, shape, or form. I still think he's still got some time on his side, youth wise, and he's in great shape all the time. So he'll have a longer career up there. Yeah, I think it might benefit him. I think he'll do well.
Right. Well, hey man, that's all I got from about this. Anything you want to say other than that, man?
No, I just want to swing through. Shout out Iron Kong, everybody in the chat. Subscribe to Iron Kong. Enjoy your day. Hit the like button on your way in or your way out. And this 1-2 Kid, I'm signing out. Enjoy your day, fellas.
And subscribe to 1-2 Kid also, man. I mean, support the UGC.
No doubt about it. UGC in the house.
Peace out, brother. Peace out. Peace out.
Yep.
And that's that 1-2 Kid. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you, Tim W. Thank you, Red Glove Militant. Thank you all y'all for listening to us. If you catch the replay, tell us what you think. Is the super middleweight the most irrelevant division in boxing? Peace.